Welcome to the June R&R session. My name is Shelly. I am a counselor with the Ascension, Wisconsin EAP program. I'm full-time in our Oshkosh office where I work as a counselor, and I'm also a registered yoga teacher, and I teach here in town. I've been practicing for over 25 years, and it's a joy to be able to come together each month to share this time together. And if you're new to the R&R session, welcome. We meet monthly, the first Wednesday of every month from 12 to 12:30. I am joined by my colleague, Jen, and Jen is available to help if you're having any issues or concerns. She will also be recording our session today, but the recordings don't include our videos or chats, so just mainly the video. But speaking of recordings, what we do with those recordings is we put them on our YouTube channel. So if you go on to Ascension, Wisconsin EAP through YouTube, you will find our channel and a gazillion resources there. I mean, it's a gold mine as far as the presentations that we've done in the past, just in general, like our lunch and learns that Jen facilitates and coordinates. Those are all on there, as well as the R&R sessions that we've done for the last year and a half, which is incredible. So there is an actual R&R session playlist that you can watch any of the other recordings anytime between our first Wednesdays. And so you can also share those with family members or colleagues. It is not just for folks who are using the EAP. Feel free to share. So with today's session, I have been thinking a lot about being present. And it's been coming up a lot in my client sessions where we're talking about for stress management and the ways we can come into the present to help with, one, better quality of life, and two, to help get us away from the negative thinking that typically will trigger a stress response, like that fight, flight, or freeze. We can use the present moment to help us when we're in the fight, flight, or freeze. And so I thought today I'd spend a little bit more time developing those tools. But I want to get us all on the same page. And for me, when I was looking for images, this really stood out to me. The difference of how I look at this statement now as a recent 50-year-old compared to my 20-year-old self, my 25, 30-year-old self. I grew up in Connecticut outside New York City. Most of our parents worked in the city. They were commuting. And about close to 98% of my high school graduating class went to college. So I lived in an area where 9 out of 10 people had a college education. It was expected that you achieve and move on. A lot of my classmates, they live all over the world, all over the country. And so living for the moment, live the moment. Growing up, I would have heard that as, what are you doing with your life? Right? Like, how are you maximizing the moment? Meaning, where do you live? What house do you live in? What's your salary? What car are you driving? And moving to the Midwest in my mid-20s for grad school, I moved to St. Louis. There's a little bit of that in St. Louis, but coming to Wisconsin totally took me out of that radically 20 years ago. And it was a challenge. I say that moving here really made me reckon with myself. It forced me to slow down. It forced me to reevaluate what I defined as achievement. And I was already practicing yoga at that time, But right, as any practice, spiritual practice unfolds in our lives, we come to deeper realizations. And so now when I see live the moment, it's more about the moment, and am I actually living this moment, right? So it's not about my to-do list. It's not about what I have on my goals. It's more like when I went for my run this morning along the river, and I was so in my head that I missed part of my run. And then I came around a bend, and then there was the river shimmering. And it was like, oh, okay. Like, I'm in the moment. This is the run. The run isn't what I'm chewing on in my head, right? It's really savoring the moment. So I'd encourage you or invite you to take a moment here to pause and think about for yourself what maybe live the moment has meant to you in the past. If what I said about my youth rings true for you, or if it still rings true, if it shifted for you in any way. And I'd like to explore today what it actually means to be in the now, which is interesting because when you think of now could be like, do this now, right? Like, how many times did I say it to my 14-year-old daughter today? I need you to do this now. But then we're talking about now, like what's happening in this radical present moment for you. It's not there. It's not if or when or should, but now. Maybe thinking about the times when you've been absent-minded and you feel like, we certainly do this sometimes when we're driving, when we go into autopilot. It's like, how did I get to this exit already? Right? How do we become more grounded right now? So come in into your room, look around the space around you, right? Listen to the sounds. If you've got the windows open, if you're at a place at work where you can have the windows open, or if you're at home, what are the sounds outside your window? What are the sounds inside your house or your building? Maybe even what does the chair feel like that you're sitting on? What does it look like? If you look down and look at what is actually the pattern, the upholstery of the seat you're sitting on, what are the materials that your chair is made out of? Is there a way that you could shift and move to make yourself even more comfortable in your chair? And as we move through this, I'm going to just bring up grounding, okay? Because this is what we're doing. And grounding is really powerful way to come into the present. And there's lots of different ways that we can ground. Typically, like I've said this before in previous R&R sessions, I usually use a body scan for this. But today, I'm just going to review some different kinds. So for me, body scan is really, really helpful when I'm in that fight, flight, or freeze mode. When I'm in a stress response, I have a really hard time concentrating and doing the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't want to count. I don't want to focus. I just need to like really come into my body. And so I'll typically do that when my heart is racing and I'm getting worked up, like through my feet and feeling that connection of my feet on the floor. And for me, that is extremely soothing. And then I'll move up, like I guide you, I'll usually like joint to joint, right? So the feet, ankles, knees, hips, the back, shoulders, right? But there's a lovely way to use grounding before you get to that yellow zone area, like when you're in the green zone. And typically staying in the green zone and using grounding practices throughout the day really helps prevent us getting into that yellow zone more often. Okay, so I find these different coping strategies or grounding strategies are great in the green zone of, like, for instance, when I was on my run this morning and I realized how much I was in my head, that I missed one of the most favorite parts of my run. And so I went right to my eyesight, right? My eyes, what am I seeing right now? And immediately it was the sparkling water, right? And then I looked and I could see the pelicans flying overhead. And I started noticing the boats that were parked in the river, and tried to find a couple of things I could see. And then I went to hearing, like, what am I hearing? Like the birds, the water, the traffic going over the bridge at that moment. What am I smelling, right? And fortunately, it's not that time in the season where it smells like stinky fish yet. So the air was really clear and crisp, and especially appreciating that now that, well, maybe temporarily, some of that smoke from Canada has moved out for a couple of days. Monday, it was a different story, trying to run with the air quality so poor. So, when we're drinking tea or whatever beverage we're enjoying, are we actually tasting it, right? So being in the moment, and when we're in the moment, we do register a higher quality of life. And in fact, I'm leading a women's wellness retreat for UWO again this fall, and we're doing it on joy, and I'm doing a lot of research on joy. And what I'm learning about joy is how much joy actually comes from the present moment, right? That sense of awe and wonder. So there's the grounded, using your 5 senses, right? What you see, feel, hear, smell, and taste. And then the physical grounding techniques. So savoring the food or beverage, right? Being aware of our breath, finding something funny in your day, looking for colors. And sometimes, and especially, I have a lot of clients who like to do the rainbow grounding, where they'll do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but 5 red things, 4 orange things, 3 yellow things, 2 green things, 1 blue thing. But they're all about, like, bringing us into the present. So let's move forward and let's do some grounding of our own and some stretching. So I'm going to stop sharing so that you all can see. And let's sink our bodies a little bit heavier into our chair. Just release the weight into the chair. Let the chair hold you. And have the sense that the floor is supporting you as well. And maybe look at the floor. Notice what the floor looks like. Okay, so look at the floor, look at the chair, and then settle in and get a little bit more comfortable. Bring awareness to the feet, your feet, making contact with the floor, releasing into the floor. Notice the sits bones releasing, maybe the hips releasing, relaxing, and sinking deeper into the chair. Soften the shoulders, let them become heavy, but heavy not in a burden way, but more just a relaxed way, coming away from the ears. Lengthen up through the back of the neck and the crown of the head. And sense the space above the head, maybe 5 to 6 inches. And from the crown of the head, bring awareness as you bring that energy line that you have down through the crown of the head, down through the center of your torso, and down through the tailbone. With your next breath in, release the belly. Let it expand to use that diaphragmatic breathing. Inhale and bring that energy from the tailbone up through the crown of your head. And as you exhale, you hug that navel center in, tuck it in, and bring that energy, that breath through the crown of the head, down through the torso, down through the sits bones. Let's do 2 more breath cycles here. Deepening your sense of the now, the moment, truly living the moment here, following your breath. Now bring your hands onto the belly. Be gentle with yourself and compassionate. This isn't a time to judge or criticize how the gut or the belly is feeling right now, but let's just let the hands rest there and notice as they float away from the body with the in-breath and out on the exhale, hugging that navel center in so it's floating back towards the spine. And see if you can bring in a 4-count breath on the inhale, counting to 4 through the nostrils. Exhale through the nose on 4. And now bring your hands to the lower ribs. So your hands are at the base of your rib cage. And now let's, on the next breath, do a 4-count breath, inhaling, noticing how you're not just expanding forward, but out through the sides of the body with the breath. Notice how the ribs actually flex with your diaphragmatic breath on the inhale and the exhale. And now if you bring your fingers together with both hands, bring one down to right between, like at the sternum, okay, right under the heart, and then find the back of the heart with the other hand, if you can reach back that far, and breathe here, noticing the expansion even in the heart area, the front of the heart, the back of the heart. You might even be able to sense your heartbeat. And now bring both hands to the heart center. Close your eyes if you haven't already, and fully be present to your heartbeat right now. So gently releasing and bringing the hands to the shoulders. And we're going to do some shoulder circles here. And this might be a good time to scoot to the front of your chair. So doing some shoulder circles. Really bringing the elbows towards each other as they come forward, opening up the back of the heart, and then squeezing the shoulder blades as they come back. And then reverse direction. You'll notice how you need to engage those abdominals. There's no need to tighten the hips or the glutes. Just let the sits bones root down. And when we've done an equal number on each side, we'll bring the elbows back out, really stretch them apart from each other and hinge over to the left. So your right hip is going to need to ground down a little bit more firmly. Tone the navel center, hug it in, and reach the right elbow up, reach the left elbow down, and feel that nice side stretch through the right ribs, through the right side body. The chin can come to the left shoulder and look down. Notice the floor. Notice the details. And breathe. Coming back to center. Let's come to the opposite side. So stretching, right elbow down, left elbow up, engage the navel center, breathe. The chin comes towards the right shoulder. Let the neck relax. The effort is in trying to spread the elbows apart and feeling that lovely, lovely opening in the left side body. Now bring it back to center. And we're going to twist. So opening up to the left, you can keep your hands on your shoulders, or you can spread open your arms wide. You could even come into goddess arms, whatever makes sense for you. Again, hug that navel center in to create more room for your twist. If your arms are on your shoulders, you can stay here. If your arms are wide or in goddess, you might bring them together in prayer position. We're going to come a little bit more into a twist, bringing that right elbow to the left thigh or outside of the left thigh. And you might even look behind you, looking past that left shoulder. Notice what happens to the abdomen here. The navel center really needs to hug in as we reach through the crown of the head and coming back to center and then reversing. So twisting to the right, either with hands on the shoulders, arms expanded, or elbows bent. And then coming down, hinging forward. So now you'll notice how the stretch is more in that outer hip. Maybe even through the upper back. Hug the abdominals in a little bit more. Good. And then coming back to center. Clasp the hands behind your back and reach the arms, the hands away. So you're really opening up through the chest here, squeezing the shoulder blades. If you want to get a little bit higher up into the upper back, you could try bending your elbows a little bit, and that'll send the stretch even higher, maybe even to the back, the base of the neck. And then with the hands clasped, we're going to fold over our legs. You can keep those arms extended, reaching them up and away, or let them just come to the lower back. You can also let the hands now come to the floor and walk them over to the outside of the right foot. Coming back to center, walk them over to the outside of the left foot. And back to center, and then walking the hands up, coming back to your seated. And we'll do a few cat-cows here. So again, reaching the chest forward, the shoulder blades squeeze, our tailbone points backwards, and then we reverse, hug that navel center in, tilt the pelvis, and open up between the shoulder blades. And do this 2 more times. The breaths on the inhale, we come forward. Exhale, we squeeze out. Good. Coming back to center, pick your right foot off the floor and do big circles with the foot, just hovering over the floor. Reverse direction. Bring the right foot down, left foot lifts, circle. Reverse direction. Beautiful. Now bring the right ankle over the thigh, just above the knee, or if that's too much, lengthen the left leg and bring the ankle under that left knee. And you can hold on to your shin here, and we're going to bend the elbows and fold forward. Now really hug that navel center in and try to keep the spine straight. So you're hinging out of the hips, lengthening through the back of the neck, through the crown of the head. Breathe. Come back to center. The right leg comes down, left ankle crosses over either above the knee or below, holding on to that shin, hinging forward. Breathing, lengthening. And then coming back to center, coming back to your seat, getting comfortable with the support of the back of your chair. Good. With the eyes closed, remaining here in the present moment and enjoying the nectar of that brief time to stretch, time to rethink how you might perceive your present moment. Maybe think of ways that you could challenge yourself to be more present today, just in general, knowing the gifts that it gives you, what a privilege it is to be on this planet and to see its wonders, to see the moon in the morning sky, to see everything blooming around us right now, the sunsets. And maybe ways you could be intentional to bring in a grounding practice when you are starting to get worked up, right? And how can we use grounding to bring us out of our heads and back into what really matters, which is this moment. And so I'll share this poem that I found for today's session, Be Here Now. Be here now. No need to move. You're all that's needed. Leave wealth to those who have nothing else. Listen, the wind's dropped, stars overflow above your head. These moments have taken billions of years to grow. Don't drop them now. Here, take the key. It's all yours. This present moment is all yours. So breathing that in fully. And on the exhale out, if you're able to sigh it out. Oh. Take another deep breath in and sigh out. Okay. I hope that was helpful to you today. Here is the information for contacting us if you need further information, if for counseling, or if you can't find us on YouTube, and I apologize, I didn't crop that box right, but it is Ascension, Wisconsin EAP. And for those of you earning wellness points today, the keyword is now. And with that, we will sign out, and we will see you here next month for July, if you can believe it. It's the same link and everything, so just save this link and put it in your calendar as a recurring appointment, and we'll look forward to seeing you again. Bye, y'all.